my biggest influences and really one of my earliest influences. I'm really so lucky that I had a guitar teacher actually on the very first lesson play me some of his music. And I was just blown away how fluid and how beautiful his music was. And that's Allan Holdsworth. I've been a fan of Allan Holdsworth since like 1981. Really, just a few months after I was playing, I heard his playing. I was just blown away. The earliest thing I heard by him was from Bill Bruford. I think it was Hell's Bells that he played me. And the solo on that's just, amazing. I was a Van Halen fan at the time, and when I heard that smooth legato sound that Allan had, it was really right up my alley. So I went out and bought the IOU album, and the music was unlike anything I'd heard, and I just kept listening to it. I was so intrigued by it, harmonically and rhythmically. And those seamless legato lines just had a huge impact on me. Then I got UK, which is a brilliant album, and some of the other stuff, Gazoos by Gong and different things like that, which I'll talk about in future episodes. But I was fortunate that I got to see Allan a lot live. In fact, this book I got of Allan chord transcriptions, I actually got from a concert probably 1980, well, let's see when this book came out. 1985, so I probably got this in 1985 or 1986, really, right when it came out. I got all their autographs. I got Steve Hunt, Allan Holdsworth, and Gary Husband's autograph. Allan wrote Cheers, Allan Holdsworth. And this is a really cool book. Even more than the transcriptions, I really like the biography aspect of it, and a lot of cool photos of Allan. At the time Allan was playing Ibanez guitars. He didn't play them for very long, but it's really cool. And the chord stuff in here, I'm not sure how accurate it is, to be honest with you. But he talks about all the guitars he's had, like his Strat and his SG, which he used early on. And then the Charvel Strat, the red one. I loved that guitar. I thought that was killer. And then the Allan Holdsworth one that he played just briefly, like I said. But it has a really nice biography, some more nice photos in it. It's just a really cool book to have. Anything with Allan's amazing. Playing wise, Allan influenced me so much, just the sound of it, just listening to his records, and when I play I try to get that seamless sound. Just knowing that was a possibility that I could do had such an impact on me. And the way he would kind of hold the notes and almost get this crying sound with this really nice vibrato. This really cool like finger vibrato that was slight. I'm not sounding like Allan Holdsworth. I mean, no one can sound like him really, but it just had an impact on me. And there I'm just staying in the key that we were working in earlier. But it has a different sound when you use that legato playing. And for me, the notes, the key to playing legato is keeping the notes ringing the whole time. You want them to ring out. Another thing is when you're playing legato is I lift my fingers off when I go to the next string, and a lot of times when I'm playing those lines I don't pick the other string, but I lift my fingers off. You don't want it to sound like that. You kind of want separation between the notes. With the legato, I would just see the scale, and I would just kind of move my fingers and try to create melodies. And just as long as I keep the string ringing and kind of move my fingers and feel a pulse or rhythm and kind of phrase off it. And a lot of times when I'm playing legato, I play more freely, even though I'm filling the pocket, kind of playing in the cracks more. But it's so expressive to me and creative because I don't really know what's going to come out. Another thing for me is when I'm playing legato is I try to keep my hand really relaxed. It almost feels like rubber. But I'll be talking more about Allan in the future and maybe show a couple lines of Allan's that I've transcribed and some legato licks that I actually have worked out that are fun to practice. But when I'm improvising legato, for me it's just fun to move my hands and see what comes out. But I do have legato licks that I'll practice just to keep my hands limber, and they'll creep in there also, and I'll show you some of them in the future. An album that really had a huge impact on me when it came out, I would say in the top 3 or 4 albums of all time in terms of influence, would be the live album from Alcatraz. I was a huge fan of No Parole from Rock and Roll. That's another one that's right up there. And when I heard this in the summer of 1984, when I bought this album, I was just blown away by, he played so much. It was like every song had so many innovative, cool things, and he pretty much soloed through the whole song, but at the time, that's what I wanted to hear. And when I put on Yngwie, that's still what I want to hear. I think this is peak Yngwie, actually. I think this is, he's still playing amazing, but for me, the rawness, the youth, his youthful playing, and how clean and articulate it was, and his tone wasn't overly distorted. He didn't have all the delay and stuff on it that he has now, which I like also, but there's just something about the rawness of this album that really appeals to me. The songs on it, like Too Young to Die, Too Drunk to Live, on this version's killer. The solo is just awesome on it. He does some really cool pedal tones. Then you have the live Hiroshima Mon Amour, which is another brilliant solo. He does a Graham Bonnet song, Night Games, with a really just killer solo in that. Every song has amazing solo. He does some really nice picking stuff in that. It's at a tempo where he's really just cruising and picking those lines. The live version of Island in the Sun is really good. But the one that really blew me away was Krina Kori, the live version of that. And in that solo, he did a couple arpeggios. I remember I took him into my guitar teacher, and I sat around and just practiced them. And, Yngwie plays A minor a little different, but the way I was shown was this. And I remember sitting around and practicing that like crazy. Yngwie actually did it more like... But I actually did it the other way. But I remember practicing that like crazy, and I remember I finally got it down. I remember Live Aid was on in 1985, so I must have been practicing that riff for a long time, but I finally figured out that you let the pick fall into the next note. And I remember watching U2 live on Live Aid, at the Live Aid concert, and they're just, first of all, that U2 performance was mind-blowing to me in and of itself. At the time, it was just amazing. But I was sitting there with my guitar and just practicing that arpeggio, and I kind of saw U2 and at their peak, and also learned the arpeggio. And it was Live Aid, so it was a very memorable day. But the next track on it would be the Coming Back to Solo, which is, I kind of consider that just to be part of Krina Kori. Then you got Since You've Been Gone, the Rainbow Classic. Evil Eye, this Evil Eye version is by far my favorite. He plays some amazing things on it, and he's really picking on this album. This album's just full of peak, if I can say it, peak Yngwie Malmsteen picking, just amazing. All Night Long is another great, Rainbow Classic that he did just amazing things on, and just the whole album's great. You got the back cover, you got the Warden there, what can I say? I thought I would just talk about it because there's a lot of memories with this album, and I just wanted to share some of them with you. So thanks for listening. Well, I really enjoyed talking with you all today. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I'm really having fun doing this little series of videos on guitar in the 80s. Thanks a lot for watching, and if you like this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it, and thanks a lot, and have fun picking.